Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hale empath, and I just like doing these little talks on the way I feel about things. And oh, today I feel pretty wonky. I feel kind of, I don't know. I don't feel like it's not bad. It's just um, my energy is all over the place. It is up and down. Some people could equate that to anxiety. I'm just pinging. Did get to meditate for about 54 minutes today, so, at least I'm not pinging to the point that I can't keep myself still. A lot of people can't keep themselves still, and they're not taking the new Earth's energies of truth and light too well, because they vibed too low for so long, and now things can't anymore, so they're like, what? They're spinning out. A lot of people are acting in ego. A lot of people are seeing who they really are, It's weird. Today was so quiet. I'm stationed in the 45th parallel, and I believe in everything is energy, and I'm kind of a transmuter for emotions, vibrations. Here, It's kind of funny. I live in the capital of Oregon, and it wasn't until after I moved here that I figured out my energy and people that like transmute collective sum of all parts of where they live in their community, like radio, and we tune in to what people are thinking and how they're acting, I can tell when people aren't being present. There's sirens every time I go outside. Accidents happen from not being where their hands are. There's a lot of people that are so today was real quiet, and there's like still like no animals, no birds, not a lot going on the interwebs, like new shows that were that they're like a holiday hiatus, so there's like nothing, nothing new. Things are just kind of stagnant, people are kind of in a holding pattern. I don't know if you've ever been in an earthquake. You feel a rumble that occurs, that occurs to you what it is, and then you feel the power of the earth and what it can do, Sometimes people get enthralled with that first time they step on a beach and they feel the water pull, that current, that pull when it pulls the water from under your feet, that draw, forces that you can't see, but you're freaking experiencing them. All those forces are going to become more evident, and people just need to allow whatever you see, believe it, It's your resistance is what's going to cause harm to you. So try not to resist anything that you're going to see in the next year, because it's only going to be more and more insane, So stationed at the 45th parallel, and that's the thing is being I'll be a lot more pragmatic where I plan my latitude and longitude where I move to. I prefer living in smaller communities, smaller towns where people know each other, because here I'm an outsider, It's one of the reasons why I'm trying so hard to get back to Reading. It's funny, I just see all this stuff in my feed about how awful California is, and California is this, terrible, that. I'm like, good, maybe all the freaking people have made it, the greedy people will leave, so we can normalize it again, as wholesome hearted. Just people want to just live quiet in the mountains, not be bothered, And at the same time, all that karma that has been collected, like that's the thing. Like, think about how many Salems are across the United States. Think about all the Salem, Massachusetts, all the terrible things that happened there, because people weren't allowed to practice their devotions and what they believed in, because the churches wanted to take all the money, so they just told them, they along with the the police and powers that be, have totally slowly been taking away what people can believe in, their freedoms, year after year, for actually not real long, but a couple 100 years. It's taken to ruin this country. Ego. It's not a real long time for 437 people in a very small room, by comparison, that have ruined a nation for however many people they say live here. Anyway, so what happens is there's universal law, and sometimes people. I mean, I know I was sent here for a reason. You know, there's some karma here that I needed to resolve from some past incarnation, and I've done it. You know, so I'm ready to move on. I think the universe is ready to see that happen. So that's why you know, the energy shift. Mercury, went direct today. You feel the energy shift, and there's just like a still, like a silence. You know, I always sometimes when it's like that when you realize that there is a power bigger than you. You know, I've done that a few times in my life, and it's just brought me to about to my knees. Of I am not in charge. You know, from time to time, and the dude that played Newman on Jurassic Park, when he was exposed on the toilet, you see the water, you know, like tremble, you see vibrate, and it's just like, you know that your world is about to change in a very big way, you know, and people are getting their moments all over the place. People are having their experiences, you know, things that they've worried about for so long are coming true, you know, and there ain't no way to, you know, some people are the storyline that people create their realities by, you know, I try to leave things more open-ended, and if I am going to think about outcome of situation, I'm going to be darn well going to freaking try and think about the most wonderful, glorious outcome I can possibly imagine, so. So in all these cities, you know, it's like people want to go someplace, like I was talking about that are named Salem, people want to go someplace, like started back east. It's like, you know, there's Salem, Massachusetts, and, you know, they move west to discover things and make them new, but then they keep renaming the cities the same over and over and keep, you know, reinventing the wheel, or keep, you know, creating the same idea, but the geography doesn't line up with the mentality. Geography spiritually doesn't line up with the mentality geographically, or not geographically, the mentality that has been brought to the area, you know, so there's dissonance, you know, so people just always feel a little bit off about things because the ideas of the letter of the law don't match the spirit of the law. We'll just say that, and the that's changing all across the nation, you know. People are waking up. See, in the Great Awakening, it don't necessarily have to be a spiritual awakening. You know, I just think about how many people don't realize that they even have a spirit. That would be a spiritual awakening to me, that they realize that there's some huge, bigger entity, and we are all part of it, just an aspect of it, and we can be a representation of a high vibrational being or a representation of a low vibrational being, and we have free will to determine every day if we're going to live outside of ourselves, service for others, be a helpful being on this planet, you know, not impede the progress of others and keep all the freaking good stuff for yourself and be a greedy pig and get to the point where your blessings spoil you, you know, or you know, because what you're going to find out is ideas that have been planted in the heart space of greed, they're not going to succeed. It ain't universal. It's how universal law works, man. What you put out comes back. And so a lot of these little tiny little huge heart-based projects are really going to be recognized for being true and, you know, pretty neat in their own right. So I'm kind of excited for how things are changing. It was really kind of interesting. I was like, yeah, it's quiet all day long. It's been quiet. Technology's been quiet. There's just not a lot of stories, and, you know, I know there's stuff going on in the news, but, you know, less and less people are watching that stuff because they're believing, you know, that it's not true, that there is a different reality out there than the one that's been presented to us, and people are spending more time and effort to just concentrating on their own personal reality and how they can make their own communities better. And so That's pretty neat to watch too. And then I was verified. I finally, about a little while ago, I'm like, man, there's just like no videos coming. It's just. And then I looked to see if there was an outage on YouTube, and there was stuff hours ago. And then about an hour ago, I got like 20 emails from this morning. I delete my email pretty regular as they come in. So, I mean, they were just like the server, somebody freaking, you know, something got turned back, and, you know, tech is glitchy. You know, tech is glitchy. You just can't count on stuff, you know. You gotta allow for, if you send an email, maybe it's gonna end up to the recipient, maybe it's not, you know. Is it gonna cause a problem if they don't get it? Maybe you should just make a phone call, have a quick conversation, you know. People rely too much on tech. They treat it like it's a light bulb, you know. You flip a switch and woo, there's evidence that everything is working as it should. That ain't like that. And, you know, there's compatibility issues everywhere, so people are going to have to get creative if they want to continue to do tech as they've done it. They're going to have to get creative if they want to get, you know, keep using the browser. Because people are packing up their toys and sending and going home, you know, so Apple ain't playing with YouTube, and or Safari don't work with, like, YouTube stuff, and gotta use it's just all a mess, convoluted, and everything that is happening on the world stage is a direct reflection of the psychology of the people breaking down. And the world is seeing that the people in charge have not been qualified to do anything. That there's a lot of other people that live in, you know, on this planet that are better qualified, you know, that want peace for everybody and want to stop these made-up military conflicts. Man, the $680 billion freaking budget. There's only 382 million people in this country. Each American citizen could be a millionaire several times over. They would just stop making up these extensions of their lost masculinity, taking it out on smaller countries, because, you know, whatever. That's all I got for now. Hope you have a rad evening. Peace.